Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Divinely Inspired Conversations podcast. I am Jared. Thank you for joining us. And with me today, I have Travis.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
I We are supposed to be joined by Enya. She may join us later. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, until then, Travis and I today we are going to speak about toxic masculinity, how it's pervasive in our society, what it means to us, how it is impacted on our lives, and how we deal with it. And it's unfortunate and it couldn't be here. I'm well right now from the get go because I know that this is a topic that she's very impassioned about. So we're really, really hoping that she can join us and we can hear her perspective. If not, we would definitely ask her to chime in on it on a later date. We can always come back and revisit this, especially if this is something that interests you all. So yeah, so first of all, let's define toxic masculinity. To me, I'm not going to go into the textbook definitions. I'm not in here, but to me, toxic masculinity is that pervasive nature that men need to be a certain way and they need to receive certain types of attention, affection, love, what have you. And they feel like they are entitled to certain things. Now, I know I'm being very generic here, and it's because I believe that whereas there is I guess a consensus on the things that men feel they need to be and all of that, I feel like there's a spectrum. Um I guess if we're just talking about bare bones, they think that men should be like all men should be very assertive to the point of aggressive. They are supposed to they are the ones who earn more. They are the ones that take control and take charge. They are the ones that are entitled to whatever they want, whether it be, affections from a certain woman that they have um, an attraction to, or the whatever food they want at whatever time. They believe in this alpha male culture where everybody should drop whatever they're doing and pay attention to them, and whatever they have to say is the most important thing, and that all men are supposed to be this kind of like hunter mentality where they are assertive and they're aggressive and they are fighting. They all play sports. They can't be and show their more feminine energy, and it's all about a bunch of waffle, to be quite honest. In
Mhm.
fact, I mean, I will get into Travis's definition, but just so I could sugarcoat it, because that was a lot of heavy energy, and I want to kind of distance myself from that. I believe that people are people. We all have feminine and masculine energy in us, and or something in between. We all have that, all different types of energy in us. In fact, I don't even associate a certain gender to a certain energy. I just believe people are people. They like what they like. They act how they act. They speak how they speak. They do what they do, and we should just allow people to do what they love. Once it comes from a place of light and love, just allow people to enjoy life. Life is so difficult, and we should not force anyone to be a certain way because of gender roles and all of these archaic beliefs. But Travis, I open up the floor to you. What is your thoughts on toxic masculinity?
Well, I love everything you said so much, Jared. I love especially how you really just say people are people, and you don't really see gender, and I really learned from that. Like I just love that, like, kind of come as you are. You are enough, and you're worthy and stuff. So firstly, I just want to say that we kind of chose this topic. The title of it is a mainstream topic, right? I don't think we inherently think that anyone is inherently bad or evil or wrong. We kind of just want to kind of talk about the impact of it, of this particular energy, and how it shows up in
Correct.
society.
Correct.
So yeah, I fully agree with everything Jared said, and I kind of want to talk about where it comes from.
Hmm.
Where does this energy originate from, and how it's so heavily ingrained into our culture and society and into the root and core of every person on this planet, essentially, right? So it's like where to begin.
Yeah, it's a lot there.
But yeah, I think just being on this planet, we should first inherently be aware that the energy on this planet is very masculine, and it creates, what that means is that the same thing, all those activities and patterns that Jared mentioned, we're fully inclined towards it. And but I would love to share that where this comes from, right? The inclination to be that way and to partake in activities which are not like healthy to the other person or people involved. That essentially comes from, I think it comes from, um, and I really do think this. It really stems from like this deep unworthiness we feel as a society, and it comes to, and I personally, if I don't know how deep we should go here, but yeah, I'll just go with that. This deep unworthiness we feel as a society, and the need to try to be good enough. You could let me know your thoughts, Sharon, but I think that what happens is that either people they just haven't gotten that like love they needed, and they decided, like, especially males, to kind of close off on this on that sort of feminine, what is perceived as feminine emotions, right? Emotions are perceived as feminine, and not allowing themselves to feel. So that kind of creates, because they already perceive that this what they've wanted in love and affection they've wanted hasn't been available. So they've learned to kind of close off on it and become really hyper masculine as a result, and really angry. So it kind of created this hurt from not being good enough from birth or whatever. And this hurt kind of created this anger, and this anger became an actual pattern person. And all right, hey guys, Enya just joined us, and we just wanted to chime in. So, hey Enya.
Hey, hey. So I'm so sorry for now coming late to the party and I'm really upset about it, but that's okay. Life happens. I'm really interested in listening over to what you guys said because I believe I missed a couple things on what you were saying about the topic, but I just want to introduce my ideas and probably elaborate on them in another podcast, in another session. And I think that I'm taking it more from a feminine perspective. I would say toxic masculinity is intimidation of women. And I'll
Hmm.
just jump right into it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. You go, girl.
it has to do with the part where you're afraid of the feminine and, it intimidates you to the point where you have to oppress and suppress and try to dominate the other energy or try to make the other energy even gaslight it, like make it feel like it's crazy or something. And there's a lot of fears and I don't know why it occurs, but it does. And I would love to obviously divulge into that more and talk about that more with you guys at some point. So that was my 2 cents. I do have to jump off because I have an interview in 5 minutes, but
Mhm.
I
But
will
and yeah,
talk more
just
about this soon. Yeah.
so sorry, because I know you have to jump off, but Travis actually brought up a really interesting point about where it comes from, and I actually 100% agree with him. He said it comes from a feeling of unworthiness in men, and they try to overcompensate for that by being this hyper aggressive way.
I love
And
that.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I love
Me
that.
too. That is accurate. That is accurate.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'll tell you guys why I laughed about that so much. My dad has a TikTok, a famous viral TikTok with him being like, that is accurate. That is accurate. So
You lying.
I'm not lying. I'll tell you guys about that another time. Anyway,
Okay.
okay, well, I
Good.
would
Then you need
love
to
to
do a part
elaborate. I
two.
will join this conversation another day. I don't know if
Oh,
we'll reschedule, but I would probably hop back on
hmm.
after my interview. It's just 15 minutes. So if you guys still chatting, I'll hop back on. Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Good
Sounds
luck,
good.
girl. I'm
And
gonna talk to you in a
yeah,
bit.
Thank
good luck, and
you.
yeah. Bye
Thank
bye.
Bye.
you. Okay, bye.
Or
Yes,
well,
Travis.
yeah, chime in there. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But you continue, continue.
Hey, so yeah, guys, I was just saying that, I really think that it comes from just not feeling, that this really deep hurt that inherently everyone experiences, right? Which turns into anger, and it really is this angry this anger fueled persona, and a closing off from emotions on the whole, which kind of creates this toxic, which what we call this toxic need to be unkind to others, right? And how this plays off, right, energetically, is that this person would obligate someone else to try to bring up that deep hurt and pain by triggering them, right? By triggering them, because and even on a subconscious level, that other person too would have their own anger going on, right? And they would get triggered, and it actually, the deep hurt actually wants to come out, but but the way they try to do that is by making the other person angry. So it creates this never-ending cycle of anger, hurts, and more pain. So I think until we learn to heal that, and to be really accountable, and for how we behave, and who we choose to pull into our like storms and what we're going through, and to be really conscious of what energy we put out, until we learn to be more, yeah, accountable for that. This is what happens as a result. But I want to hear
Yeah.
your thoughts.
I mean, like it's just so many thoughts. So the first thing is that I agree. I 100% agree with what you said. I think that it is coming from unworthiness, and the second you said it, I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, this is so accurate," and I feel and resonate with this so much. It is unworthiness, because at all points in time that I felt that I even succumb to that toxic masculine side of myself, it came from a place of I felt insecure, I felt unworthy, so therefore I overcompensate with this. And it's something that's so systemic in our culture, especially coming from the Caribbean, that, men are supposed to be men, they're supposed to act a certain way and be tough, they're not meant to be, um, men aren't supposed to cry, men aren't supposed to be too touchy feely. Like these things, we grew up with them. We're old enough that our parents examined
Mm,
this behavior. They even, like, I remember talking to my mom quite recently, actually, and she was telling me that, people told her when I was growing up, he's a boy, you're not supposed to be like, babying him up too much. You're not supposed to be petting him up too much because he'll end up being soft and whatever, whatever, whatever. And I mean, I am not going to even begin to examine how to parent anybody. I'm not a parent. I'm not going to tell anybody how to parent. But at the same time, like, I never want to do that to my sons, my future sons. I
mm,
never wanted to try to impose any sort of behavior on them that is not correct. Incorrect, sorry. So if they are doing the incorrect thing, of course I'll teach them right from wrong. But if they just want to be themselves and they want to, they want to be comforted, or they want to be shown love in a certain way, I don't see anything wrong with treating them how you would treat your daughters. Like I personally don't think that anybody should be um taught how to be socialized. Sorry, so should be socialized to being acting a certain way. There's no such thing as act a man or be a man about it or anything like that. These are things that we grew up saying, no, be a man or man up or anything like that. But what is that about? What is that?
yeah.
What is being a man? Isn't it not the same as being an adult, accepting responsibility, taking accountability for your actions, accepting responsibility and dealing with the consequences? to me, that is what the expression being a man is. That's what it is. It's nothing but taking accountability and being responsible. That is not a trait inherent to any specific gender. That's being an adult. And I feel like, from where the toxic masculinity also came from, and why so much men are walking around so angry, is that they were taught to not handle and deal with their emotions. They were taught to bottle it up. So they have all of this frustration because they don't know why they are so sad. They don't know how to handle their emotions. So all they can do is be hyper aggressive about it, throw a tantrum, throw a fit, because they don't know how to handle how they're feeling, because they were never taught how. And I feel like that's how we address this. I feel like even in like how toxic masculinity affected my life is that, not only the ways I spoke of just now, but also in terms of, because I was not an avid athlete, because I was not the most manly man, I didn't talk the manliest, I didn't look the manliest, I didn't fit any of those gender specific roles of what quote unquote being a manly man is. Like, I was not outcasted by certain members of my family, but like treated differently than, more traditionally masculine versions of my family. And as a child growing up, you look at, okay, why is he more favorited by my grandparents or whatever, and like that hurts, and you don't know how to express it, so you just get upset and frustrated and think, oh, because I am unworthy. And it even becomes, it's like a cycle. And then of course you see people who act quote unquote like a traditional man. They get rewarded for that by given attention and affection by people who hold those beliefs, and they feel like, okay, well, I'm doing the right thing, so I'll just continue doing it. And that's just how we continue the cycle, and it's toxic. Travis, one of the things that I wanted to say is that I remember when you were going through your journey of finding yourself, about yourself, finding out about your tribe, and you told us, because you felt empowered to, about you, and you were so surprised that Enya and I were so accepting of it. And it's like, to me, in my mind, I was like, why? I accept you. I love you, my friend. It doesn't matter to me what beliefs you hold in terms of who you are and what you want to do. Like, I don't hold you to any standard of what you should be, or I just want to get to know you for your genuine self. And that's all that matters to me. And I wish more people felt that way. I wish more people, instead of wanting to know the man that I am, want to just know me, Jared. Whatever energy I have in me, whatever I like, whatever I want to do, just pay attention to that, not necessarily what roles you want to assign to me.
And yeah, I'm still surprised. I love everything you shared, by the way, and I really wanted to hear your biggest struggles with you talk, how that affected your life. So I'm so happy you shared some of it, and I'm still so surprised that you guys were so like like just so chill and loving, regardless, because it's just so extraordinary, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I'm back.
yeah, it's nice, nice. Hope everything went well.
No, well, yeah, it did. Apparently, they will call me within the hour. It's not like a schedule on the time at 4 that I have to join a Zoom call. So they will be calling me within this time from 4 to 5. Yeah, like, you guys want to recap real quick? I know it might be wrapping up, but if you recap, I'll kind of get a thing and I could put 2 cents in, and then, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to hear you. I'd love to. Good. This was all you, and this was all your what you wanted to. We're here because of this topic you brought up. Um, well,
Yeah.
So far we talked about we talked about Jared.
Okay, so Travis spoke about how it came from a feeling of, not understanding who you are, feeling unworthy, feeling just genuinely like you are less than, so you need to overcompensate for that, and how it causes so much anger in people. and it really took him by shock, like how angry some people are and how much anger they hold on to,
Mhm.
and how it caused people to impose certain beliefs, and then I spoke about the fact that in my life, you know, it 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 never ceases to amaze me that people could impose all of these beliefs because they say you're a man, so I can't cuddle you as much, or like our parents said man up, or
Mm.
be a certain way because you're a guy, or treat girls different than how you treat boys, or whatever, and all of that. I'm not
Well,
saying
you know,
guys. I'm not saying guys should hit anybody or girls should hit
no, they
anybody,
didn't. Yeah.
but I'm just saying that like we should raise our kids to just be loving and not impose any, like, oh, I can't cuddle you because you're a boy and you'll become soft.
Yeah, I
None of
was
that.
now gonna stick a pin right there and say that yes, I think because of all those ideologies that you just listed out with what's been societally supported, and basically as a society we want to impose these beliefs onto everyone else. So men are supposed to be less nurtured than females, when in turn that creates toxic masculinity, because at the end of the day, with the less amount of nurturing and the less amount of love and cuddling, just because they're a male, I think that was more like a generation or two before our generation, though, that upbringing happened, and it did contribute to breed contempt, if that makes sense, because I think it is like the premise of the resentment that some men have for women, and a lot of men have resentment and hate for women because they feel like, oh, she gets away with everything. She gets away for being pregnant. She gets away for being on her period. She gets away for being a woman. And I hate that. And because of that, that's not fair to me. So how is that different? Why does that mean I get less love? Why does that mean I get less attention? Why does that mean I get less resources? Right? And that then now men start to see women as a threat. Men start to see women as competition. And that's when it will inspire now the action to the whole, I think it's red pill, blue pill, all this stuff with they slut shame women, they shame women for everything, and they have this ideology that you know don't simp, and all these things, and I think it just contributes to, okay, you know what, if you really sit down and self reflect and go within and realize, hey, I am angry and I am resentful towards females because so and so and so and so, instead of attacking them and instead of degrading them and trying to bring them down as a sex, I think, or, yeah, I would say it's a sex because I think gender is fluid. But anyway, as a sex, right? Instead of trying to attack a specific type of sex, why don't you just like um heal your issues? Because at the end of the day, I understand that it's not as easy as going within. Healing is not easy. Admitting that you're probably part of the problem is not easy. But if you really sit back and think about it, degrading and going to slut shame people on a whole, or even a gender on a whole, and saying, hey, females are crap, females are slutty, females are this, females are, and I'm not gonna lie, they are toxic feminines too. So we have to talk about that next, the toxic femininity. And I'm not trying to say females are excluded from that umbrella, but I'm just trying to say you contribute in that negative light to try to drag all females down because of a certain ideology that you have. You kind of technically on this doing the same thing, or like you kind of technically on the same wavelength or on the same frequency as that, as the same exact thing that you hate. Like when you dislike something, you will want to rise above it and you'd want to become better than it. You wouldn't want to become it. So by becoming toxic and degrading and bringing down another sex, that's just making you the same that you hate, the same things. You're just making excuses now, just like they were making excuses for
Yeah.
everything. And that's just where I'm coming from with that.
It never ceases to amaze me how much, how scary some men are. Never in my life did I ever think of anybody as an object that could be owned. Like it amazes me that some of these red pill men, And I mean, I don't want to ostracize anybody, but they do, like, the kind of ideology some of them hold, that women are objects to be, like,
Yeah, and
almost
they
like
love to
treated.
shame the single mom. They love to shame single mom.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
one of
it's
them now. So it's like, oh, let's just completely disregard everything she just said. And she has no voice. She has nothing. She
yeah,
is irrelevant because she's a single mom. She
yeah,
chose the guy. She chose the asshole. It's her fault that he left the family. It's her fault that she slept with him. She did it. I'm the problem. You get what I'm saying?
complete, complete,
Pointing
complete,
fingers.
complete dehumanizing of people. Like, they just see women as objects, as things to be owned, things to be just conquered. Like, there's almost no sense of, this is a human being, this is somebody's daughter, this is somebody's sister, this person means the world to somebody. Like, there's none of that love for other people out there. I don't know how we as a society became so desensitized to loving and caring. I don't know what it was. People have their ideas. People think it's, like, video games. People think it's music, movies, what have you. But I don't know how. I can't explain what it is that made people so desensitized to caring about other people. But it is amazing the kind of ideologies that some of them hold. Like, the fact that they could, like, just completely, like, dismiss a girl because she likes, having fun and doing things in her own personal life. What does that have to do with them? Like, just because
Funny.
just because they don't know how to engage with attractive women, that doesn't mean that they need to put them down. Like, just
Oh yeah, that was the next thing too, because it's true they go into the aspect of if a woman rejects them, then they could bring down the woman. So they healing and they handling the rejection in a toxic way.
yeah,
Whereas it's not about that you ugly or anything. It's just about that maybe that one individual just didn't resonate with you or she's not in alignment with you. You need to work on you in order to be in alignment with who you are supposed to be with. If you don't
yeah,
want to improve, if you rather say, you know what, I want to be somebody who just doesn't really care much about ambition and I want to just play video games all day or something, and nothing's wrong with that. Listen, I want somebody to understand something. Whoever's listening to this, understand something right now. If you decide I want to play video games all day, I prefer live with my parents, I prefer so and so, not much salary, probably live under 20K a year. Like, that's what I'm comfortable with. That's where I think my best potential on this earth is. And as long as you're genuinely content with that, nothing's wrong with it. And I'm not judging it or shaming it. All I'm saying is don't expect to be in alignment with a woman or a girl that blow dry out her hair every day, gets eyelashes done every week, goes does her nails, wants to go to the spa all the time, like wants to travel the world. Like, obviously that's not a match, because in the dynamic of feminine serve masculine or masculine serve feminine, when that happens naturally and biologically, masculine is a more provider role. Like, if you're in alignment with that energy, it could be male or female, right? If you are masculine, you want to provide, right? And when you align with a partner, male or female, whoever that is, if they're more in the feminine role, they want to receive, they want to nurture you, if that makes sense. So, in order for that dynamic of duality to be like a dance to happen, to be at play, one or the other have to be opposite. So you who was content with 20K a year and playing games all day and not really doing much, and again still taken care of by your mom, that is not going to align with a girl who already probably graduated college and already moved out her parents' house and stuff like that. And so now and then you can't get mad at her if she looks at you in a way and be like, nope, it's not going to work, because it's not going to work, right? Oh, I'm getting that call, guys. I'm so sorry.
yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
That's it, good. Yeah, good luck. You can hop back on.
Yeah, I mean, and just a caveat on your point, I'll just say that I there's absolutely nothing wrong with people doing what they love doing, even if it is to use her example, somebody who just wants to play video games, do their job, do their 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, then come back and do. There's nothing to me that's wrong with that. And in much the same way, there's nothing wrong with anybody in a relationship having certain expectations. Like we should not shame a woman who wants or has expectations that her husband would, like earn a certain amount, be a certain height, do whatever. Like we shouldn't ask her necessarily, okay, and what are you bringing? Because that is her expectation. She's entitled to that. And it's up to whoever she's with to either accept that or say, no, I'm not willing to accept that. And that is fine. She has her expectations. Let her have her expectations. We should not shame her for having her expectations or his expectations or whoever's expectations. We should not shame anybody for having their expectations going in. We should just be like, okay, well, you're not the one for me, but good luck. And just call that a day. If Travis wants a partner who meets XYZ, it's not my place to ask him, but will you bring in for that? No. It's for Travis' partner to ask that. And if they have a mutual agreement on what they both want and like they're willing to accept that, then that's between them and we wish them nothing but the best. So that's my thoughts on that specific aspect of it. It was interesting to me, and this was actually something I was hoping to talk to Enya about because I mean she was the one who we had a little bit of a back and forth on this. Um, it's just that it's funny that she and I could look at the same picture and see completely different messages. And it's that we were looking at an image of a guy and a girl in a photo, and she instantly felt fear for the girl in the photo because she thought that the guy was being aggressive towards her. I know that this is very vague, but just follow me here on this example. Um, yeah, so she thought it was a guy. I think, in my opinion, he was putting a shot in her mouth, like those guys, those bar people who like pour drinks into people's mouths, and she, in her opinion, the guy was forcing a drink down to take advantage of her, and in my opinion, he was just a guy walking around with a bottle of shots, pouring a shot in her mouth. There was probably some party, and she was having a good time. She was taking the shot, and then whatever happened after that happened. I don't know, but I thought it was innocent. She thought a little bit something more, and it's just because we have been socialized to think differently. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't distrust the man, but because she may have a little bit more, her guards up for good reason. um she instantly felt a certain amount of fear for the girl, and it's what society has done. It's created this no, it's beyond just people having different opinions. It's that certain we have taught certain people to have a certain amount of fear. And yeah, I was telling the story of when you and I were looking at the thumbnail that Travis was talking about with the guy and the girl
Oh
pouring the
boy.
shot. And I was saying how
I don't
it's
think that
so
was a shot. I think he was attacking her. But I
I know
interpreted it way different to you.
and that's
I
exactly
clearly
my
have
point.
trauma. Clearly.
That, that
Clearly.
that's that that's exactly my point. I was saying how you and I could look at the same picture and have completely different read on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad.
And I mean you could be completely right, I could be wrong, but like it's just that like I just think it was innocent, but you think it was something else. And like it's just the world we live in, that we are socialized because
Yeah.
um everybody, not just men or women, everybody has to have a certain amount of their guards up because we live in uncertain times.
Mm, I agree but disagree at the same time. I think I'm on a journey in life where I might find my soul tribe. And not might, I will find it. I already found you guys. And because I found you guys, I feel already safer in the world. And I feel like the more you surround people who make you feel seen and safe, the more that that dynamic that you just said, Jared, diminishes, because you basically will form like your own society within society, and like you will feel supported to the point where, okay, it's not just you, me, and Travis. You might have a whole community of people that like us, our love level, understanding, etc., that support one another, same ideologies and everything. Because we're not the only people who think this way, not in this world. And the more people like us who try to commute, I don't know what the word is that I'm trying to say, but try to commute, like be a community, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
the more we try to come together, I was gonna say commune, but I'm not sure if that's a word. But anyway, the more that we come together and try to be a family, try to be a community for one another, try to be social, right? And not be shy. And I think a lot of the times people might listen to what I just say and be like, well, how? Like, how am I going to connect to my soul tribe? How am I going to meet these people? You do that by working on your energy. You do that by giving yourself the love that you want to give everyone else. Because what we do naturally is we walk around giving out all this love vibration and love frequency to everyone else that doesn't need it, that doesn't remember the world is harsh and scary. And then remember, you could be in a store and you giving all these strangers that's your vibration of love, and some of them or most of them that in there wouldn't receive it because they're just not on that frequency. So they might look at you like, oh god, this person kind of crazy, or just their energy off. Like to them your energy seems off when you're just trying to give them love, if that makes sense. And that happens a lot, and I think that happens too often that we than we want to admit. And it's not that I'm saying to go walk around like a cool ice stick and be closed off, or no, I'm not meaning that. I just mean like be more conscientious of what you are doing, and don't just assume that everyone, and this is me, this is talking from my experience. I used to just walk around assuming that everyone was nice and good just like me, but no, I learned the hard way that that's not true. Some people, they don't give two craps about you, and cutthroat. Like they will hurt you without thinking about it twice, and now in order to protect yourself, you just have to feel people out, get to know people, and then be very picky about who you have in your energy and who you have in your circles. You don't have to sacrifice yourself to ill relationships just in order to say you have a relationship or you have friends and stuff like that. You could chill out on your own. But I feel called on this part of attracting my soul tribe. I feel like it's about to happen. Like before, I didn't feel like that. Before, I was like, oh, I don't think I could ever be close to people that I actually love and blah, blah, blah. But now I feel like I'm on a journey towards that. I feel like eventually I will have a life where I'm comfortable, and every weekend I will be able to surround myself with people who make me light up and who make me, we have shared interests and we doing things that we enjoy, like going for a hike in nature, and we have families, and our families and kids love each other, and the kids playing, and you have a safe house. And I'm manifesting that, if that makes sense, and I feel myself going towards it eventually, especially having Kaya in my life, my baby girl. Having that is like a big deal to me, and it makes me prioritize that, if that makes sense. Before, I would probably prioritize trying to date the right guy, but now I'm prioritizing just having a family and a community around me. You know,
Yeah.
I think love will come, regardless. But you know what I mean. Like that's more important than
And
trying
I
to find
think
the guy.
I
Yeah,
think I think that's so beautiful, and I completely, I absolutely wish nothing but that for you to find your tribe, to find that people that make you feel whole and safe, and just
yeah.
feel free to be you. Um, I have a point to what you were saying, but I just want to open back up the floor to Travis so he could say how he feels about what was just said, or input something.
I also love that you manifested that idea. Like that is so beautiful. And I love the way that we bring into this podcast like what it is to experience this toxic masculinity, and kind of like our own experiences and the solutions for it. Which so I love that we bring all that. Um my biggest irk with it is that I'll just say I how I'd feel is that it this energy it just infringes upon authenticity in every area of society. You know, whether it is in the workplace or personal life or professional life, social life, even in your private spiritual life, all lives, whoever you're trying to be at any given point, this suppressive energy, it really infringes upon that, and it really tries to take up space to make us someone who we, who society wants us to be, or that energy that it kind of wants to convert us into that, and it really kind of requires a conscious effort to let that authenticity flow through and through. Like despite all of that, that's my biggest irk, and I think it's like the biggest challenges. I also think it's the biggest it's where all forms of like discrimination comes from, and it's just from I think it's this projected energy of of unworthiness and stuff, which tries to pick at the other person. Um, but at this point, I just like not really interested in it. I'm mostly interested with my biggest struggle with toxic masculinity, is your energy of it that I carry is my own unworthiness. So like how it makes me and how this affects me is that I've internalized this energy so much now that I use this energy to like bully myself, criticize myself, keep telling myself every day I'm not good enough. And it really is like my biggest hindrance and my biggest pain and struggle for like my entire life. So like it's been something very external, but it has become very internal as well. And learning to navigate that, it's been a real challenge, and that kind of challenge opens up and layers upon layers, and that's how come I really felt that it really stems from this deep sense of unworthiness, and and if I wanted to say it as well, how to combat this deep level of unworthiness, it would be well, going deep with it and kind of realizing that it is all a journey in terms of like coming back home to love, like what Annie was saying, and giving that love over to yourself. And it really is that journey of self love, and how to, I guess, become closer to God and stuff like that. So I guess that's where I feel at this point that I feel like all of it is as heavy as the energy is. It's kind of meant to serve me and help me to become more authentic and loving towards myself. So that's what I wanted to share. Thanks.
So I completely love everything you said, Travis, and of course I agree with it. I think it not only came from a positive place, but it also could perfectly encapsulates a lot of the points that I want to make now. Just a caveat, both of what you said, because it kind of aligns with what both of you was saying. But the first thing is that you know toxic masculinity. I think, and we've all said this, sorry, in different ways, but it's not only something that affects one specific type of person. It affects all people. It affects men and women negatively. But I also want to make it clear that it's not only perpetrated by a specific type of person. I feel like not it's not that everybody exhibits toxic masculinity, but all types of people are guilty of examining toxic masculinity on society, even if it's unconsciously. I feel like just having an expectation that the guy would do this is a version of toxic masculinity. um I'm not saying that you should have the expectation that if you go on a date that that you shouldn't have the expectation that whoever you go out with is not going to pay. That's the expectation. You are allowed and feel free to feel however you want to feel. But I'm just saying that to each and every person that attributed a certain action to somebody just because they are male, they have to do this action. That is, even if it's a softer version, it is still toxic masculinity to expect because you are a man, you are going to do this. It's no, no. You're allowed to have expectations of your partner. You're not allowed to have expectations of a specific sex. I don't know if you all agree or disagree. Y'all feel free to let me know. But it's not only perpetrated by men. It's perpetrated
Mm.
by all types of people, and we all need to wake up to that so we can all realize that we have these beliefs and start to work on them.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that with the dating thing and the dating world. Because I think toxic masculinity, and I think we should do another series not with that, but I want us to compare it to toxic femininity as well, and I want us to go under different umbrellas because they can have different ways people will show it up, like in the workplace, like in dating life, like in
Yeah.
family. And
Yeah.
I want us to like talk about each one and like in depth. I would love to be part of the conversation from the beginning. But
Yeah.
I think for real, Jared, with that dating scene thing with the masculinity, it's like a norm that men. I don't know if I want to share this on the internet, but part of me, like my intuition, is saying, yeah, go for it. And I really hope that what I'm about to say is a trigger warning to some. And I
Okay,
want to
everybody
say that
trigger warning.
also. Yeah, trigger warning. And so click off if you don't want to hear about something that might upset you. Also, but it's been a crazy experience while I've been pregnant with Kyle. And I've been up and down with my relationship with her dad. And when it was finalized that we broke up, I had a really low moment in my um life where just to cheer myself up, I joined I think Bumble. Yeah, it was Bumble. Yeah, I joined the app, and I was like, you know what, I don't have to date anybody seriously. I just have to probably go there to cheer myself up, talk to someone, make myself feel like, oh, there's hope. That was really the intention, and I was probably about 7 months pregnant at this time. um, I put pictures. I think one picture I had up of it was me pregnant. One picture, but I put the other pictures was me non-pregnant or whatever. And I did put that I had kids on the profile. I'm upfront. I'm just upfront like that, and I think that you should know what you're getting into. So I did that, and I matched with this guy. He was a travel nurse, and it was crazy because he was really attractive. I like that he had a good profession, and it seems like he was really into me because he's like, oh my gosh, we spoke for a little bit, we clicked. He's like, I just want to have dinner and just get to know somebody and have fun. And I agreed. I was like, yeah, that sounds really good. Just chatting and just having company. That's what I'm here for too. And he's like, well, great, let's meet for dinner. And I got really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna have a dinner date while pregnant. I told him, I was like, I'm pregnant, right? And he's like, yeah, that's okay. Like, we could chat and whatever, whatever. I was like, okay. And it was going really good. We talked for a couple of days, and then we were supposed to meet out for dinner twice, but I couldn't make it because I just wasn't feeling so good. And I think something came up for him on one of the times. So one day got canceled, the other day. So it just kind of went off there. But then the third time he asked, because he was persistent, he's like, well, let's meet tonight. I was like, okay, well, it's Friday. I have nothing to do. And, the energy of Friday, how it gets, like, oh, it's Friday to do something. So I told him, yeah, that sounds exciting. So then he came again with this. He was like, well, I'm really tired. Do you mind if I just cook dinner for you at my place? And I was like, okay, that actually, I don't mind it. It's just that it's the first time we're meeting, and I'm pregnant. So it's kind of like awkward because I don't expect us to have any physical intimacy at this point. And I obviously know usually if you go over to a guy's place, oh, it's insinuated that physical intimacy might be on the table, and I just wanted to clear that up with him and be upfront, be like, listen, this is what's going to happen. And the guy had the audacity to write me back. He was like, well, I don't know what your deal is, but I have no problem sleeping with a pregnant woman. I never did that before. And I just literally instantly blocked him at that point. because I was very hurt and also disturbed by his response, because it was in his mind that he's going to sleep with me regardless of, before me telling him clearly that, look, I'm not interested in that. I just want company. I just want to talk to someone. I just want to chill and have, like, you know, a hangout, whatever, a friendship, or I don't know, whatever it is I was looking for. Obviously, I was in a, first of all, I was in a wounded place, and I should not have been on that app because I was in a wounded place. But I learned, and from learning that, I want to address, those things, and I date, obviously, will be dating differently when I do start to date again, because I haven't in over a year. I've been taking time for myself, but anyways, that was that experience, right? And yeah,
But
that's,
he
I
actually
think that was
said that?
toxic
That's wild.
masculinity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Can you imagine? He had the audacity to say, and then he actually did got angry with me because I told him I'm not coming. He's like, well, you will stay there sexless.
Okay, thanks.
That is so wild that he got angry as well. Like, what? What?
It was such aggression. It was so much aggression came to me, Travis. I don't know what
My
happened.
goodness.
I know I
Like,
had to block
how?
him because he was attacking me with messages.
Yeah, but how could he even expect anything, in that circumstance? I understand guys they say they have needs, whatever, but, you clearly stated your boundaries and what you expected.
Yeah, and then that also gives me trust issues because look at that level of deceit. Look at how you were like, yeah, let's just have dinner. I just want to talk and chat. I can scroll back up in that chat and probably screenshot when he said that. And then all of a sudden it changed to, no, let's just meet at my place because
Hmm,
I don't mind being intimate with a pregnant person. I think I never did
that
it
is
before and I want to do
wild.
it. Yeah,
That is so wild.
right, right.
Seeing seeing as we go in there, right? Travis always telling me, he wanna hear more about my private things. So let's go there, right? Trigger warning
This is a
again, guys.
podcast.
trigger
Oh, God.
trigger warning again, guys. So
Yeah,
I
let's do it.
so I have a past. Everybody has a past, right? Um, where this was when I was young and dumb. I'm a lot smarter. I can't say I'm smart yet, but I'm a lot smarter than I was before. Um, this is when I was immature and didn't know anything about anything, and I had the opinion that what, um, it is my expectation that if I am nice to a person and I pay for the date and I'm a gentleman, I go out of my way to do all of these things and I'm so interesting and I have so much to bring to the table, that is my expectation that after a certain amount of time, physical intimacy will happen, right? Now, sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. When it didn't, I always was got annoyed and I may have reacted immaturely, like how that guy clearly did to Enya. And it is something that I do feel a certain amount of shame for. In fact, I did apologize later on to, some of the girls. Some of them blocked me, and for good reason, and I've never spoken to
Oh
them
my
since.
God.
But the ones that I did speak to, I did apologize for my behavior and when I learned better. And it's just something like that to me is such a major part of toxic masculinity. It is that you see physical intimacy as a conquest, he clearly just saw Enya as, oh, I've never ticked this box, I want to tick this box, I have no problem with that. He didn't see Enya as a human being. He didn't see her as having boundaries and wanting to have a clear definition of what she wanted out of that relationship. um he just saw her as an object to conquer. We don't know any of the other particulars, if there was any other thing that he had going on or not, but like, and that's how it is, because that's how I felt. I felt of certain people as a box to tick, or so an itch to scratch or something like that. And it it is what we grew up hearing because of all of this talk about playership, and you have to, yeah, this ridiculous notion of a master key opens many locks, but and all of that nonsense. Like this is what we grew up hearing growing up. This is what, unfortunately, a lot of boys are still hearing to this day. And it's unfortunate that, like, these behaviors are not being corrected. Whether it is that guys and fathers are talking to their sons, or mothers are talking to their sons or daughters, or and trying to correct this behavior. Like, I don't know, but it does need to be addressed, that we need to stop seeing this kind of playerhood as good, because all it does is objectify women, and it creates this immature reaction like what any experience, and we are hurting a lot of women in the process.
Oh yeah, I agree to that hurting the woman thing. It's just that the other thing is things. There are wild stories the other way around, and men get hurt too.
Yeah,
And
sure, for
but
sure.
I think the problem is the vicious cycle of hurt people, and I think it's a vicious cycle of behaving in a certain way because women ain't shit or because men ain't shit, and that whole attitude, like that whole mindset, that needs to get in bed. Say the word,
Mm-hmm.
please. This you guys know what I'm trying to say. It needs to get like
Mm-hmm.
dismantled and dismissed, and like it needs to be cancelled. I think we should do a whole cancel culture on toxic masculinity and femininity, because once people are more conscious and push towards being a more wholesome human being, as Jared was saying in general, like I think it will be less we sorry, I think we as a society might be less hurt people.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hurt people walking around here because, I have all the excuse in the book to be a hurt person. If you look at my track record, oh my gosh, like I've been so unlucky with men because I'm heterosexual, obviously, but I've been unlucky with my type, and then other people could say the same. Or still might have a lesbian who say, yeah, I've been unlucky with women and different things, right? But I've been unlucky with my partners. And it's not to say that I went into the relationship with malicious intent. I went in to the relationship thinking, hey, this could be my person. I'm gonna give this my all. I'm gonna love them and everything that I have. And when I did love them and everything I have and still got rejected or still got um, you know, not met my needs not met. It was a lot to deal with and a lot to heal from, because it was easy for me to say my love is not enough. It's easy for me to
Mm-hmm.
say my love, people don't give a crap about it, and go down a very negative spiral of not mental health, not mentally healthy thoughts, if that makes sense. But instead, I realized, like, my love is not for everybody. And that's where my thing is. Now I realize my worth. Now I realize, look, I get that I was trying to give this to an average person. Like, I was getting that I was trying to give this to any random guy who wants to love me. But no, that's not a pick me. I'm no longer a pick me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now I realize
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter about, if the guy loves you or not or interested in you or not. What matters is if could he meet my needs, or could he understand my boundaries? Could he respect my space? Could he, you know, hold space for me? And to me, when you adhere to your boundaries and you adhere to what your life means and you have things going for you and you focus on what your life is, someone will come and they will be like, knock, knock, knock. Can I sit here? I would love to go for a ride with you. And that's when things will start unfolding in like a beautiful flower blossoming to show, um, obviously to show that you don't have to settle, or you don't have to be toxic, or you don't have to go down a very hurt road of those thoughts that will in turn me. I have every excuse in the book to say men and shit. Every excuse. But that's not true. Because I'd have men like you, Jared, and I'd have men like Travis and men, all kinds of different men out there. Beautiful men out there. Gorgeous and loving and, full of so much hope and good energy. I fail to see that these experiences that I had, maybe those people who I had experience with, they're great men too. Except I just didn't get a chance to see that, if that makes sense. What I saw at that time was not that. But you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
forgive them and I bless them and I send them love and light. I just need to, obviously, I feel like I just need to focus more on the abundance of how many other good men there are out there, because thinking in the scarcity mindset, thinking, no, no, all the men like this is, they're not going to help me, because at the end of the day, I might stay single for the rest of my life. At the end of the day, Kaya needs a dad, if that makes sense. She does have a dad, but she needs one of those dads that she wakes up to every day, if that makes sense. This
Yeah.
half dad thing that she has right now, that's not good enough for her. She needs another one, right? And that's what I mean by that. And I'm not going to selfishly take that away from her because I'm bitter about men. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Can I can I just add something that
Mm-hmm.
on the whole topic of the way we treat other people, and the fact that we need to address the toxicity, that people need to take more accountability for their actions, especially when people try to tell them about it. So when we try to call out bad behavior, it already takes so much these days for people to call out bad behavior, because I feel like in recent times a lot of people have become socially anxious, right? But when we actually do call out bad behavior, I feel like people are unwilling to see how what they're doing affects others. For example, I'll never forget a time I was driving with this driver, and he was calling out to the women on the street, catcalling them and all that. And I told him, you make women feel uncomfortable when you do that. And he thought, and he told me, no, I don't. How can I be making a woman feel uncomfortable, however, if I'm just saying, hello, beautiful, can I get your number? Or you make this world such a better place by being here, or whatever, whatever. And I'm like, because they don't know you, they don't want to necessarily like be hearing these uncomfortable things from you. They just want to go about their day. And he thought, no, because he was complimenting them, people like compliments, that they like that. And I don't think he understood from a woman's perspective how scary something like that could be, because, I mean, in talking to women, because I have sisters, I have a mom, I have aunts, I have friends who are girls, in talking to them about it, they don't know how to react, because if they don't respond, the men get upset because they feel like, oh, you ignore me, you're too good for me. If they react too kindly, the men feel like that's an invitation to continue and push further. Or if they flat out reject them, they feel disrespected and want to get disrespectful back, and like get aggressive. And it's a scary thing. So whereas he thought he was giving a compliment and that everybody likes compliments, no, you're putting these people in an uncomfortable position. And I don't mean to keep calling men out. I'm just saying, all of these types of toxic behaviors need to be addressed. And it's something that, like we need to stop, just living in our own bubble. If we really want to heal this, we need to be able to hear other opinions, and take things with grace and understand where it's coming from, and not just get hoot by the fact people are criticizing us.
Yeah, I like that. We
Yeah.
need to get
Definitely,
thicker skin
definitely.
to criticism. We need to, because at the end of the day, criticism is needed. And the more we realize that, the more that we, will be better. Again, for society, we need to understand it's all for the better and greater good and contribution to society on a whole.
Yeah.
Because where society headed now, right now, it looks a little bit grim. It's not really the best compared, especially to the 1980s. People were a little bit more open and loving and friendly, accepting at that time. Now we're a little bit so judgy, and then at the same time, we're just not willing to do anything to make it better, but we still want to judge. You know, That's basically that.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about. I don't know. We'll have to do a part two. But I wanted to ask you guys. But I wanted to say this first, and I think this is why it really stems from like this energy, right? And it really stems from this deep unworthiness because I've been wondering, been really curious as to why, for example, people do activities which causes hurts and harm, right, to either other people or to the environment and stuff like that. And I just realized, okay, so for example, consuming, and they all of it really, whether it's trying to consume more women, right, or more resources, anything like that. Even it's I was just kind of wondering, for example, eating meat, or I mean, and it's up to anybody to do what they like, right? But anything which causes hurt to the ecosystem and the environment and other people, I've been really wondering why. What fuels this? Here's why I really think it's this unworthiness because it's this deep unworthiness which creates this sort of selfish need to just accumulate and sacrifice everything around that person to get what they want because they want this sort of feeling that they want to feel good enough actually on a very deep level, but um they in their mind, and you guys could share what other beliefs they have, but in their mind they believe that the world is a cool, scary place, a harsh place, and resources and love and stuff like that are very limited, so they have to do whatever they must, and they will literally sacrifice everything and everyone around them. That's why they're so incredibly cruel to even their loved ones and people who love them dearly to get that what they want. Um, Even if it's sex, right? They ascertain sex to give them that feeling of worthiness. So they will just sacrifice whoever and whatever to get that. And yeah. And the thing is, though, I wanted to ask you guys, um, how do we solve that as a society? Because when we begin to face that and look at this deep amount of unworthiness that we hold subconsciously, unconsciously, and we begin to feel so deeply unworthy, like that is a lot of pain to go through and to face, and it really is for the brave, I think. But that's also me limiting the power of every person. But how do we like begin to face that this deep, amount of unworthiness to begin to, like fix that or,
Oh, Jared, will you have any contribution to that?
Um, so first of all, I do think it's a good point about the overconsumption. I think that the overconsumption and just, you know, seeming like an alpha in terms of everything, that you are at the top of the food chain, you can get whatever you want, you can dominate in every single field. I think that, it's the whole idea of dominance is where that comes from. Because you feel so unworthy inside, that you feel that you need to show that you dominate, because you can't appear weak. Even though you feel weak, you can't appear weak. So you have to be the smartest in the room. You have to be the most popular, the person everybody wants to come to. Come across as the richest. Come across as can get every single girl, whatever, whatever, whatever. Insert all the compliments here, and it's just that feeling of being the top of the food chain and being an alpha is to me the reason for overconsumption. The fact that this whole thing about wanting a steak, wanting to drive the biggest truck, whatever, whatever, whatever. Like the fact that you could show that you are the top. I think that I know I keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, but that to me is where that whole overconsumption comes from. Um, and I think that how we heal that, I think we really need to prioritize mental health awareness. I think that, despite, like, I live in the UK now, and I work in an industry now that, we speak a lot about mental health first aiders, and we try to provide mental health awareness, and we talk about stress and all of that. But even though we have these discussions, I still think that the majority of people think that if you do seek help, something is wrong with you and you come across as weak. And I think that most people, um, let me not say most people, I think that a good bit of people are unwilling to do that. Even if they really need it, they are unwilling to come across as weak or that something is wrong with them. And we need to change that. We need to make mental health more accessible to the general public. It's sad that for most people, therapy is unaffordable because to me, the majority of the people who need therapy are the ones who do not earn because they feel like their life, they're not in control of their life. They feel like they have so much anger that they're walking around with, but they can't afford therapy. Because they can't. They live in paycheck to paycheck, and they're barely making ends meet. So we need the way to me how you fix that is by seeking help, seeking like counseling for understand your feelings, how to deal with them in uh, a manner that is good, that is taking charge and is making your life actively better. Um, besides therapy and mental health awareness, I think the only way that we could normalize good behavior and not overconsumption is by making the influencers, quote unquote, like not just like the social media influencers, but even like actors and actresses and people in areas of influence, making them the spokesperson for good behavior. I feel like we still live in a world where bad news sells because people like hearing about drama, but
Mm.
it's unfortunate that these stars, in order to stay relevant, a lot of them engage in that drama because if they were showing good behavior, then that would spread so much further in terms of healing. I feel like I know I'm droning on here, and of course I'll pivot back over to one of you guys. But like, look how much good couples like the Obamas did for the black community in America. Like, a lot of men saw that, looked up to Barack as a role model, and I think he influenced a lot of people in that community. A lot of women as well looked up to Michelle, and they were influenced and they were inspired by her to be similar and follow in her footsteps. So I think more positive role models could go a long way. It's just that it's unfortunate that a lot of the role models that are out there now, especially for the youth, are not very good people. But yeah, and yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. What I think is something that I realized too. It's kind of encouraged, but then again, we on this earth that is duality, and we have people who are good, and then we also have people who are bad. And I think what it is, I think the people who decide that they are bad and decide that they are comfortable with that, um they want to be seen and they want to be heard and they want to have a space to exist. And unfortunately, because this plane that we're on is not predominantly only good, we have the duality aspect of it. You can choose though as a human to only see good or only to see bad or to see both, because we have, obviously, we that's what we know, good and bad, right? We have the knowledge of good and evil. But um the thing is that there's only one power, which is good, and that's the truth, which is the ultimate truth. But people who are bad, who wants to be bad and who are comfortable with that, they just want to be seen and want to be heard. And that's why they're the entertainers and the rap industry and stuff will be like, I will shoot you, mother effer, whatever that is. And they will they'll
Wait,
do it.
that's
They
not a
will be,
bad
and
song.
they're proud. Yeah, and they're proud of it. And they will then over sexualize the woman and say, yeah, pussy in your face, blah blah blah. Censoring, sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say. But
Wait,
yeah,
and
they
somebody
yeah.
name that song. That song real bad.
I don't
So,
know the sense,
WAP, WAP.
guys.
The name of the song is WAP, right? Like, come on, there's the WAP, there's another again, I'm not trying to say anything wrong with it, right? I just trying to say that it has a space for that to exist too. And that's why, because that exists, and because now an average person who have no really opinion in good or evil will step back and be like, which one I like more, and they could kind of decide where their personality will lean and what they will be interested in. You know, the people who have most of the power in the world are people who have databases, meta, people who have the databases of all that information. And obviously, they are more powerful because they can sit back and look at how many people downloaded X kind of music, or how many people downloaded this type of content, how many people watch this type of, I don't know, adult films. Like, they have a lot of power. Google, per se, is the next company that probably have a lot of power because they will now be able to tell by their data and statistics. They could run AI and run algorithms to tell where the whole, like how society is shaping, like what, and information knowledge is power. And because they know that, like, you know, then they could probably now have higher powers at play who would now step in and be like, all right, let's influence them like this. Let's put this type of video out in the content and push that content more, or push this content more. And more people will, because remember, we are all easily persuaded. Our minds are not made of steel. It's very malleable. It's very easy to persuade and to control, if that makes sense. And a lot of people walking around not knowing this, not understanding that, and doing things, and they might do things because they just feel like it. And that's why God says, lean not on your own understanding, right? You have to check yourself, and you have to get to know yourself, because if you don't do that, you kind of will be like a puppet, just making decisions that probably is not in the best interest for your life. And that's what, Jared, I think you were trying to say in a kind of way with the entertainment industry and stuff, and how they should be more conscious of what they do, but they're not, because it's cool to cuss. It's cool to talk about shooting people. It's cool to open my legs on a music video and drop my ass and shake it in a kind of way to make people be like, ooh, what's that? Like, it's
Yeah.
cool, right? It's accepted, it's seen, and if I come here and be like, okay, I'm a nun, I want to talk about chastity and how cool it is to be main chaste and to keep your body virtuous. And if I come, people will be like, what the hell? I don't care about that. Like, that, it's more interesting to open my legs and pop my ass out, like, I don't know what to do, but that's more
Yes.
interesting to me. Right? So that's where the whole issue is. It's not like they don't want to be a good person. I think it's more that they're just trying to influence, and they're under heavy influence too, with people who control the strings of that puppeteer show. And they who pull the strings say, hey, you gotta do this, you have to do this, because we want the world to be influenced in this certain specific type of way energetically. And that's where now you have to think, okay, so there's more. We don't wrestle against flesh, we wrestle against principalities and spirits and powers, because people who behind the scenes, they know what they're doing. We don't. We just sheep. That's why God call us sheep. Jesus call us sheep. You understand? We don't know. We're just following a herd. You understand? So that's something to remember, to know, to keep in the back of your mind.
I um I definitely think that, yeah, we needed to do a lot of healing in terms of, the kind of role models that are out there. And yeah, it's just such a sad thing that these are all the people that a lot of younger people have to look up to. I think that we were blessed in terms of having good role models in terms of our parents. We could see, even, we all have certain criticisms against our parents. That's understandable. But at the same time, at least we had our parents in our lives that they could have, shown us what it means to be a loyal, devoted, good partner who treats their partner with a certain amount of respect and kindness. And like a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that. And what are they growing up seeing? These rappers, these artists, both male and female, just, doing whatever. And is that any way for them to value and see the opposite sex or how to live? No. It's a scary thing. Like each and every day, I'm in this group chat with like a lot of my family members, and we share, they share videos of school children with the kind of things that they're doing in schools and the fights that they get into. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, when I was in school, we fought, but it's nothing like what it is nowadays. It really is nothing like what it is nowadays. With these things going on, maybe when I was in school, it's just that we didn't have social media to broadcast it. But I never heard about any instances like this. I was never like privy to any information, I guess. Like, what is going on? We had violent music, we had violent video games in those days as well, but it's just so much worse now. I think it's just like a build up over time. It's so desensitized to violence, to like sexual acts from early ages. Like it's terrible now, and yeah, something needs to be done. But what can you do? Is overconsumption. It was harder to get access to these things when we were younger, but now, you know children at very young ages, parents are putting screens and iPads and whatever in front of their faces so that they can get addicted to screens and to different
Yeah,
stimuli and find
yeah.
out all of these things. We didn't have that.
No, we didn't. But yeah, something I have to be mindful of with Kaya as well, because it's very, very tempting to put her in her walker or to lay her down on the couch or sit her up on the couch and let her watch a 20-minute video of a cow singing A B C D E F G. It's so easy. Um
Mhm.
and I have to be mindful of that because that's his screen giving her time instead of me cadoodling her and singing to her with human interaction. It's something
Yeah.
I have to work on because I feel like it's so much easier. Being a single mom, it is very, very tempting and easy to do that. Be like, here, look, go watch the television. It's going to teach you about the ABCs, one, two, threes. Even though she is consuming educational content, right? And she might be learning from that, so that's a positive, but it still like takes away from the idea of a human interaction or a human touch, if that makes sense. Versus back in the day, it would have been my mother, holding me, rocking me, singing me to sleep, and being like, I'll just go to sleep. Now with the screen time that we having, I get to run, go take a shower, or I get to do, I don't know, whatever I need to do that probably requires not having Kaya in my arms. And even it's hard, but I want to make an extra effort to try to see how best I could, obviously, probably if I need to put more effort in trying to rock her to sleep or something like that. See if she sleeps instead of sitting her up and letting her watch TV, because she's missing out on sleep by watching TV, if that makes sense. But she does watch TV at 4 months old. She is very into television. She knows her show. She has a favorite song. She has everything that's her favorite show. If it shuts off, she might get a little fussy and she put it back on. She quiet down. Like it's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and there's not any slight on you, and I mean, you're doing it on your own, so that's understandable that sometimes you need to distract her while you even get things ready for her to go going.
correct. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's so difficult. It's just so it nowadays it's all we know. Like I get so upset when I see parents even like whenever I take public transport and I see parents ignoring their child, like their child is talking to them trying to get their attention, and the parents on
That's
their
one thing I'll
phone.
never do. I'll never do that.
Yeah, the parents just on their phone ignoring the child, and the child, just like looking for attention. The child has to like find a way how to distract themselves, whatever, while the parents and they on watching a video or in their own world. And that is just so sad to me because, these formative years with your child, like, they just want love from you.
Yeah,
But
they
funny,
I they want attention. Sorry, Travis. What were you gonna say?
no, yeah, sorry. But funny thing, is that a lot of parents also think that the children that they're going to bring into this world is going to like give them that love and stuff they always wanted. And it's like what happens is that when they a lot of children come out be it an extension of this unworthiness and this, anger. A lot of children come out really angry and stuff, right? And it doesn't kind of solve that issue, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of why they ignore them as well because they think that these children are going to fix them or whatever. And because they really buy into this societal idea that you need to have children because children and families, bring this all this love and good stuff. And when it turns out to be more of the same thing of what they already were feeling, it could be really triggering, and that's probably why they tend to ignore the kids and stuff. It's really heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, it is heartbreaking, and I mean, the only thing I hope is that in having discussions like this and in pushing these conversations forward, hopefully we reach a place where you know the next generation of parents would be better at honoring and loving their children and training them to be better, because I do think it'll take time. I want to say our kids, and I mean we could try our best, but even if we try hard, we can't watch them 24/7. They're going to be in school, they're going to be surrounded by other parents and other kids, and we can't tell other parents how to parent. So it may not be in our lifetimes, but we could only hope that the next generation of parents will be better, and hopefully that they would train their kids to be respectful and kind and loving again. I do think that we are going in a positive direction in terms of learning how to accept one another. It definitely is better now than it was when we were younger. So at least we could give them that.
Mhm.
That things are getting better now in terms of acceptance. But let's just keep the good times coming with terms of that, at the very least.
I could agree more.
Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing after that it was so sad, right? And this is something that I always feel a little sad about. That a lot of my friends from back in secondary school, they never felt comfortable to share their truth, their about themselves, and the fact that I had friends who would brag about how many girls they had, and in fact they ended up being gay and they never had any girlfriends, and they in fact some of them had boyfriends, and I we just none of us knew, and we were their friends. And it's that when we talked about it years later, they said that they didn't feel like there was like a safe space for them to share their truth. And I mean, i I feel sad about that, because I just feel like I'm so sad that we could not be there for them. And and it's so many years after I left, and I'm hearing about my secondary school now, that so many children are openly themselves, and I am so happy about that like not in my time in secondary school, but nowadays people can be free and not have to pretend to be something that they're not. That just gives me so much hope.
Yeah, and the stuff you guys say about, how you wanna like, treat your children, to me it's just so inspiring. I was more thinking about like how my dad and their generations would have thought, about what children are. But to hear like you guys and how we feel, it's just so much more inspiring.
Mhm, yeah. I know Kaya is very loved, and she'll always be well taken care of by her mama, and I just love that so much for her. And I'm just so happy that she'll always have that love.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't explain how much my heart swells up every time I think about how much I love her. Um, it's just so much explosion of love, and I feel like it's so many ways, and for the rest of my life I could creatively try to express that to her. And I'm excited about going through the next 5 years of her life with her and intimately involved in every moment, because I want to be able to basically relive my childhood through it, not trying to control her in a specific way, but more like heal some of my past childhood stuff with her, because I want to play with Barbies again. I want to go in the mud. I want to ride bikes. I want to, you know, play sports. I want to hike. I want to do all these cool things and see her expressions and how she'll be like, wow, and yeah, and colors and glitter and whatever she'd like. If she like glitter, if she like mud pies, if she like green, if she like sports cars, I don't care. As long as she like it, I in it. I want to do it, you
Oh.
know? And I'm just ready. I'm ready for it. If she's tomboy, even better, because we could go to hiking and we could do all these cool stuff and mud, and she wouldn't be afraid to climb and fall down. But that's okay if she's girly and want to do makeup and girl time and Barbies. That's okay either. I just anyone. I'm down. I'm just ready for fun, and I can't wait to enjoy that. It'll be a very enjoyment. I don't. It'll be very enjoying for me. I'll have so much fun, and I'm just well enough. I pray that God spare my life. I pray that He blesses me and that I'm able to be there for her in the way that I want to for the rest of her life. That will be the best gift that anybody could ever ask for. So yeah, yeah, that's how I
I
feel
love
about that.
that. I love
Made me
that
feel
so
the
Yeah.
same way,
much.
Jared, but I would love to be your child as well. That's always been fun.
Boy, I just hope that my kids love nerdy stuff because like
Mm,
I just
Most
would
likely will.
I would just love to as Enya was saying, I was getting so excited to like, have a lot of family bonding activities where we get to do things because I loved this. Like when we used to play
mm,
board games together, when we would have like video game nights or board game nights or just like, general activities that we can all engage with, on
Yeah.
equal playing fields. Like
mm.
I love that. And I just, hope that my kids are nerds like me, so we could all share in that.
I don't have that vision yet for my future with kids. Like I don't have that yet in like my peripherals. But I do feel like a resonance with my tribe, and I just feel the love that we want to share with each other and allow each other to hold space for one another, and you know really hold space like for each other to be authentic. Like I feel already that's a gift I get from them that they allow me to be myself, just as you guys do. It's to me it's my like favorite gift to receive, a place to be authentic and myself and well received and just share love and receive love and kind of humanize the struggles we go through and hold space for that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I really do hope that, Travis, you figure out where you are in your journey with that. And yeah, like I wish you all the best with your journey with that.
Yeah, I wish us all the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, well, I think if you guys are up for it, if you guys have no more to add, we could have a meditation now. That's okay.
Yes.
Travis, you good
Yeah,
with that?
yeah, it's okay. And yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share? Because I know we're here because this is your topic, and I wanted to make sure that you kind of shared whatever you wanted to share or
Well, I
you
do
know.
have more to say, but I want to map out
Mm,
what I want to say better and
mm,
introduce it to the other. I think we can call this podcast Introduction to Toxic Masculinity.
mm,
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we will do a next one called Exploring Toxic Femininity. And then we could do the others would be both together, which would be toxic masculinity and femininity in the workplace, in dating life, and that way we can invite guests too. Like I want to invite Talia to talk about
mm.
the toxic masculinity and femininity in dating, like so that we could have guest speakers on to join us for that. So yeah, that's where I see that going. And even though I did say a couple things, I think we touched on what I wanted to say. The suppressing of the feminine and the shaming of the feminine and stuff. Anytime you have to bring somebody down, male or female, or pick at somebody or call them a specific name, or have anytime you're harboring a negative energy or negative emotion towards something or someone or some sex or gender or race, even let's bring race in here, you have to heal. You have a problem. And that's not on them, that's on you. And you know that because you know that you feel the negativity, and anytime you feel that negativity, it doesn't feel good, right? And when you don't feel good, you're disconnected from your true source of who you're supposed to be connected with and in alignment with manifesting good things. So that's just what I want to say. And toxic masculinity, I think, for the men out there who's trying to do a specific thing and trying to be a specific way, is that for you? Is that for you and for your benefit and for your growth? Or is that for society and for an image or an egotistical pleasure? That's just what the takeaway is with my points. So yeah.
And if I could just add one more question, because I love that so much. If I just add one more question, just how is it serving you? How is this belief that you're holding so strong? How is it serving you? It might bring you temporary solace in terms of looking at, let's just say, a man looking at a woman and thinking, I am better than her, she's nothing because she's going to reject me or she has rejected me in the past. But is that really helping you at the end of the day? No, it's not. It's not healing, it's not helping. It's just like almost as if you are intaking a poison and expecting anything else to happen but yourself to get hurt. So just release that anger. Just let's all just release the anger and frustration that we feel. We've all had times where we feel inadequate, and that's okay. That's human. We will grow. We'll move past. We'll grow beyond. So yeah. So how is it serving you?
Wait, sorry, which belief is that? Is it I believe that men are superior?
Or any
Um,
belief that anybody is inferior to you because you are whatever, you are a big strong alpha or whatever, that anybody is inferior to you, how is that serving you? All right, so if nobody has anything else to add, I think we can just jump straight into the meditation. Okay, so I could lead. I just want everybody to take a deep breath in. And when you take a deep breath in, just try to visualize anything that is calming to you. For me, I like to imagine me in a nice calming space. So I'm imagining me in nature on top of a mountain top, or I have this image of me on a cliff and I'm just looking out at a nice orange sunset or sunrise. And just take a deep breath in of calming energy. And when you breathe in that calming energy, I want you to hold it and imagine it just displacing any feeling that you want to release, any feeling of discomfort, any feeling of stuck energy, any feeling of anything that is holding you back. And then release that in as you breathe out. All right, so let's do that again. Breathe in, calming energy, and hold. And breathe out that stuck energy that you want to release. And one last time. Now, today we spoke a lot. We spoke at length about feelings of unworthiness. We spoke at length about inadequacy. We spoke about a lot of frustration. We spoke at length about a lot of different hurt feelings. As we said, hurt people, and we do believe that this feeling of toxic masculinity has done a lot of hurt to people, and we want to release that. We want to release any feeling of hurt and guilt that we may have caused others, that we may be carrying with us, that we know we've hurt others and we feel guilty about it. So let's release that. And also the hurt that we feel that toxic masculinity has done to us. I feel like it has affected all of us in some way, shape, or form. And we just want to release that too. If you're not ready to forgive whoever it is that hurt you, that's fine. Be in a not judgmental space here. But we do want to release that hurt that we feel if it's no longer serving us. Right? So let's just imagine that we can face that hurt that we feel, and we can acknowledge that it was real, that it happened, but we no longer wanted to carry it with us and send it on its way. We thank all of the divine energies, whatever you may believe in, whatever you may subscribe to. We thank the divine energies for giving us the opportunities to grow and to learn. And we ask that they be with us here in releasing all of the hurt and the pain of the past that no longer serves us, so that we can learn to become better, to grow, to become stronger. We believe that every opportunity is an opportunity to learn and become better, so that we can influence and change the world to become a better place. And that's something that we have to wholeheartedly believe in, that things will get better, that we will make the world better. So we would like to thank divine energies. We would like to thank Creator, or whatever you may believe in. And once again, we just ask that things will continue to improve, that the hurt will, even if it does come back or it does continue to show, that we continue to learn how to function and deal with it and not meet it at its level, but rise above it and grow, because it's not serving us. And while we're here, let's just send a general blessing out there for everyone, as a community, as a society, that we will continue to improve and do what it takes and put that energy out there, that for all the little boys, girls, or anyone who was hurt in the past, that they can grow from their hurt and become whole again. And that we all can learn to love and accept one another as people, not as a specific sex, not as any prescribed gender, but just people. Because that's who we are. People. A community. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I Had a really good time. I learned so much. Oh my gosh, so many things Annie and Travis said today. I was just like, they hit the nail on the head. Oh my gosh, I
I
had such
hope
a
it
good
did
time.
the same for the listeners too. I hope you guys got some revelation, or if you disagree or agree, please comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know what your opinion is. Let us know what else you want us to expand more in the other episodes to come. If you dislike the video, dislike it. Still helps us get it out. Just let it out. um, but still, like or dislike. And yeah, we just want to hear back from you guys. So I hope you enjoyed.
Same here, guys. I'd love to know how you guys feel. What are your own personal experiences with this, and anything you feel like you want to share. We'd love to know.
Yeah. So bye everyone. Speak soon. Speak really, really soon.
Bye.
Bye.